Over the past few weeks, the weather has been really super. We have seen the sun shining, blue skies, and if you have young children at home, you're thinking of the summer and how to entertain them. Living in Northern Ireland, we're never far from a beach, but unfortunately lockdown has kept all of us from getting to the coast. We hope that as restrictions begin to lift, then there will be that opportunity of heading out to the sea again. Of course, the most familiar activity for a family with young children will be onto the sand, making sand castles, or just digging that big hole into which all the water or whatever goes. I want to show you a photograph coming up on screen. It goes back over the years to when a couple of our kids were younger and they're with an older cousin, and the beach is down just not far from Torella on the coast of Down. You maybe see a glimpse of the moorings on the left-hand part of the photograph. They're making a sandcastle, but as you can see from the photograph, it's going to be a really big one. You also notice what they're using at the foreground. It's a garden spade. Now, the intention was this sandcastle will last. Nothing will bring it down. Even when the tide comes in, it's going to stay. As you can imagine, the excitement was there, but as the time progressed, the tide tends to circle or come underneath, and bit by bit, even that monster sandcastle collapses. I'm going to date myself, going back to the 1970s. The popular singer Don McLean, his hit American Pie, if you're old enough to remember. But what about the B-side of that record? Castles in the Air was the title. And the substance of what he was writing or singing about focused on being in an urban scene, having romance, and he was, as we might say, hitting the London scene in our language. And he said, I tried it all, but it was a bit like castles in the air, including the romance. And so I decided I'm going out back into the country. Building castles in the air, our hopes, our ambitions, sometimes our dreams, and they're built, but life has a tendency of quietly coming around and they start to collapse. Castles in the air, or sand castles, our hopes, our dreams, sometimes we achieve them, but then they maybe let us down and we wonder, well, was that what I really wanted? There's a book in the Bible, an interesting book called Ecclesiastes. It's in the Old Testament. And when you read through it, it has an unusual flavour. In fact, you might say the writer in the Bible seems a bit cynical about life. He has tried it all. The money, the power games, the pleasure. And he said at the end, it seems a bit meaningless. A bit like chasing your dreams that don't happen. Suppose I would say, is it castles in the air or building sandcastles? And you go through the book and he tends to burst all the bubbles of the jet set, the London scene. Does it really work? Is life a bit meaningless? Now, it's interesting in that book in the Bible because on a few occasions you just get a glimpse. He tries to say, well, in all of this, because life does have a habit of letting you down, as maybe we have experienced over the past few months in different areas of life, he says, I want to leave you with a couple of pictures. Here's one, the last chapter in that book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, he writes, now remember God when you're young, before life comes and you look at it and you say, what's it all about? Because that will happen. And life has a habit of, like the sea coming in and taking all our sandcastles of life away. Remember God when you're young. In other words, look to God Trust in him, and you will find someone who will keep you even when life tends to be uncertain. It's a bit like Jesus and the New Testament, when Jesus said, you can build in the sand or you can build in the rock. And it's easier to build in the sand, but it tends to let you down. And rather than going into the detail, what Jesus was getting at was this: in life, build on my words and my teaching, and they will keep you when the storms of life tend to hit you and many of your dreams disappear. But even more than that, Jesus was saying, not only my words, but build on me. Find that I can come in as friend and as a special person, as we term a saviour to rescue, so that when perhaps other people might let you down, he won't. Hope you have a good summer. Hope you get to the sea. And if you haven't young children, you're just dandering along by the beach, look round and you'll see children doing what they've always done for generations. It has never become outdated. Digging in the sand, building castles, seeing how long they'll last before they tumble, or maybe like ours years ago, we'll build one that'll last. And when you see the sand castles, maybe think of those words from Ecclesiastes and think of how there's something that even life can't knock down.